Hello, did you miss me? Because I'm back and I have a notebook. I have no idea how long it is going to take me to film this video, but I have been planning for it for such a long time. And the reason I have been is because I told you I was trying to break down a 40-page document released by the United States about their America First healthcare system after they left the USAIDs. But see, here's the thing. I'm not an American citizen, so why do I actually care? Why am I breaking this down? Because they brought this America First healthcare, whatever, to Africa, and so many African countries signed on to it, including Nigeria, which is where I am from. So I should care about this. And what actually led me to like really be inspired is I saw a creator's video on TikTok where she talked about how these African countries basically signed away their citizens' healthcare data for 25 years to the United States. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on right now? So I dug into it. And I literally don't know how many days it's going to take me to let you know what transpired in that document, but I'm going to try. But a little bit of intro. Hello, if you're new here, I am Antoinette, legally known as Antonia Umor. I am a broadcast journalist and a writer. And when we're not yapping on here, sometimes we do serious business. And today we're looking at the America First agenda and basically what African countries are going to be getting from it. I'm trying to flip to the page. Oh my God, how much writing did I do? Oh, I found it. It's right here. Hold on, let me check what the time is. It's currently 6:18 right now. Filming this video is Wednesday. I just got back from work and I'm like, you know what? Why do I keep procrastinating? I can start talking about this video now, and that's why I'm recording it. But before I digress, because I am a very well known yapper, I mean, I created a channel for that. I talk too much, I know, but I also get paid to talk. So let's get serious. Let's get serious, I promise. Okay, so what exactly did Nigeria start with the sign with the US? That's what I want to talk about today. So, during the COVID pandemic, the US was the US president, that is Donald Trump, he was also facing impeachment. If you remember what really happened during the COVID era, there was something that transpired when people were like, oh my God, there's this virus that's going around. It is killing people. Donald went on, was like, it's just a common cold. It's just a common cold. It's just a common cold. And in a couple of months, the world shut down COVID. And after all of that, he blamed the World Health Organization because he said, we're literally contributing to paying you to save us from this exact situation, and you didn't do your job. Forgetting he was the one out there spreading misinformation. And I hate misinformation. But you know what? He didn't get over it, right? He obviously didn't get over it because one thing about people like the current president of the US is that when something goes wrong, when they try, they don't just give up like that. They always want to try and correct it under any means necessary. Kind of like how Elon Musk's his first project was called Project X. It failed. And what did he do when he bought Twitter? He named it X. I do not think that's a coincidence. That may feel like I'm spreading conspiracy theories, but I do not think it is a coincidence that he named Twitter X. I'm still calling it Twitter, by the way. It's Twitter. Anyway, so the lockdown happened, but then the information about the disease that we got was around December 2019 and all of that. So now post COVID, it was blamed on China, right? And China has tried to point out several times that, hey, this virus did not come from us. I have proof, China said, I have proof that this virus came from the United States. But nobody, even up till now, has taken them seriously. But because of the whole COVID experience and how much changed things in America, Trump is not over it. And he's like, World Health Organization, you didn't do your job. You're useless. I'm going to get rid of you. But what happens? He gets impeached and he does not win the next election. And in 2025, he got sworn into the presidency again after he apparently won the election, became president, and he started making moves, saying all the things he was like, oh, I'm not going to do it. It's a joke. President 2025 was a joke. But remember what happened in 2025? Exactly everything they said they were going to do. The terrorists were everywhere. Like it was literally, I was an intern at the time he got sworn in. It was my job to watch the inauguration and write a news article about it. And I remember knowing that this was going to change a lot of things. It's something that Americans don't really understand. You're like, oh my god, why is the rest of the world not business when it comes to your politics? Because you don't realize it. But whoever is in charge of you people, it affects everybody else. Unfortunately, that's just how the world is ordered. But at the World Economic Forum this year in 2026, the Canadian Prime Minister did say that the global world order was changing and everybody's going to have to figure out how to adapt. We don't know if the United States is still going to be on top or if another country is going to be taking their place and whatever they have going on over there in the West. What I'm interested in is Africa and Nigeria's interests. That's why I'm analyzing this right now. This might actually take longer than necessary. I really hope you guys like long videos. I personally I don't think I've ever made a video like this just talking about, I feel like an actual journalist now. Okay, enough yapping, enough yapping. Where were we? Let's stick to the notes. Let's stick to the notes, okay? When the COVID vaccines were created during the lockdown, Donald Trump wasn't really happy about the distribution because he expected that since the United States was contributing a whole lot to the World Health Organization, they were going to prioritize giving vaccines to the United States. But that wasn't the case because the World Health Organization had to remind him that, hey, we are the World Health Organization. So we have to give vaccines to places that also have high cases as well, places that are reporting high cases as well. So that was when the US was faced with the reality that, oh, so despite the fact that we're contributing this much into the research, we are still not a priority. So one of the first things he does when he gets elected a second time, he removes USAIDs, withdraws the United States from the World Health Organization, and he says, "We gonna do this myself. I'm gonna do this myself, okay? But you know what? I'm nice, yeah. So I'm going to. I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna reset and actually take us into the document now. Since there is a reset process going on, I just suddenly remembered when I was in secondary school and my economics teacher told me something that I keep thinking about to date, and I'm thinking about it even more as I read this document. He said the United States would destroy the entire planet if it meant the US was safe. Because, mm, yeah, I really needed this. This is Ribena and water, by the way. Uh, I wish I did this while I was recording, but I'm editing again and I saw the part where I was like, oh, time out. So tea break, except instead of the tea, it's Ribena. Yeah, I gotta go back to editing now and you guys can enjoy whatever it is I was saying. I'm pretty sure a lot of us saw the news where they were like, oh, Donald Trump is removing the United States out of the World Health Organization. What are they going to do if there's another disease outbreak like COVID again? Well, he created something called the America First Global Health Strategy. That's what he created. And as the name implies, it is America First. So, when I looked at it, it kind of told me that America was the priority. I mean, that's literally what they said. What's his name again? Mark Rubio. Yeah, he wrote an address in the beginning and he was like, so this is what we're going to do now. America is the priority for everything. Yeah, that's exactly what he said. So, what I understood in summary is that they're going to be offering millions of dollars in grants to a couple of these African countries and their researchers to come up with a lot of things, and They get protected. That is what I thought, like, from the beginning. I was like, oh, so does that mean they're going to be giving like African researchers grants to research on diseases to benefit the United States? That's not all. That is not all, right? But there are several African countries that have signed onto this right now. So I had to read the full documents to figure out and put it out there that this is exactly what you signed on to, and this is what you're going to have to deal with in the future. So the summary of what the document says is this is basically what they mean. If we're paying for global research, then we have to be the priority. That's exactly the tone that they want to play now. So they complained a lot about the inefficiency of the global health system. And in America, they say that they are wasting Americans' resources if they are contributing, that is America, is contributing to global health and they are not prioritized. Instead, all of the money and the resources goes to the other countries and America gets paid dust. That's what they claim in the documents, right? He even cites some African presidents in the document, and he was like, hey, so I'm not the only one who is dissatisfied with what the World Health Organization is doing. This particular African leader said the same thing. They said they want to take their health care into their own hands. We want to do same too. So it's not just me. There are other people like me. That's basically what he said in the document. So their strategy for the America First Global Health Strategy is to make the country safer by preventing. That sounds like a very good plan, right? So what they want is they want the diseases to be kept off the American shores, and they claim that a lot of the viruses and the diseases come from areas where people are living in close proximity to animals. And where the people live, according to them, the most proximity to animals, Africa. That's literally why they're here. I said I'm not gonna get upset. I'm just gonna be objective because I'm a professional and a journalist and I have to take this seriously. Why am I wearing this headset? Wait, let me take this off. Okay. So I'm not gonna get upset, okay? Okay. So they're like, the strategy is if they are able to have people on ground in Africa with the America First Global Health Strategy, they are on ground where the viruses they believe will likely originate from. If the virus actually comes to life, they can find it, destroy the virus before the virus ever has a chance of coming into the United States. Now, do you remember China's claim from like the beginning of the video where China was like, I have proof that COVID-19 originated from the United States, but then they were ignored? Mm-hmm. So I actually don't know if that is true because nobody actually really took. There were just a bunch of news articles here and there, but I've not actually seen like actual concrete research claim. If you have any, yeah, I want to read them. I want to read them. Like, just send them to me. Send them to me, okay? I will read them. I will read them. I'm that curious. So that's my question for, oh my god, I don't even think any American government official is going to be watching this video, but if they are, sir, ma, I would like to know. I love the fact that you guys are trying to prevent the virus from coming into America, right? I love that. uh First question, what if the virus doesn't originate from Africa but actually originates from the United States? Second question, if in fact you do find a virus in any of these African countries that have signed this deal with you, what would be the method of destroying said virus like you mentioned in the document? Are you going to be creating vaccines and making sure that people who are infected find the cure? Or are you gonna seclude them and wait for them to actually? That was a very poor impression, but like, I would like to know that. That's what I would like to know. Okay. Wow, there's a lot. There is a lot, and I'm gonna have to pause and probably even continue on another date because we're losing daylight, people. We're losing daylight. I've been talking for like a couple of minutes. So the US is claiming that this global health strategy will be able to detect the outbreak before anyone they would be able to detect it anywhere in the world, and they're gonna make sure that it doesn't spread to America. That's the concrete thing that they kept mentioning in this document. It really is America first, because like it's really, it's not about anybody else. It's not about you that's signing the deal with them. It's not about China. It's not about any other continent. It's just, we're gonna make sure it doesn't come over here. Like, you guys are okay, but it shouldn't come over here. Yeah, let's talk about how they plan to achieve this. Okay, let's talk about that before I wrap up today. So they said they're gonna be doing some surveillance. They want to so they posted like a study where there are areas, they mentioned a couple of areas that had proximity to animals. Sub-Saharan Africa was mentioned, Southeast Asia was mentioned, and then South and Central America. These were the places they mentioned. It wasn't just Africa. So Sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, South and Central America. Those were the places that they were like, oh, these are the places that we're interested in checking out. And then they said they're gonna have an outbreak response team. An outbreak response team. So this outbreak response team is supposed to fight any outbreak within 72 hours of detection. There goes back to my question. How are you going to deal with a virus that you know nothing about in 72 hours? Mm, let us it. Let us it. I want to know. I really want to know. And I'm pretty sure the public will want to know as well. Okay? So the surveillance and the outbreak response was one of the strategies that they put on, and to make a point about their contributions to global health, they literally put like a chart. I really hope I can pull it up when I'm editing. They put a chart explaining how much China has contributed to medical research, specifically, I think it was in Africa or something. And then the US showed how much they have contributed. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm an academic. I love I'm very passionate about the academia, even though I haven't really gone back to do masters or anything. I can catch a shade even in a research document, because what that chart basically meant to me is, so China, they contributed so much more money than us when it comes to global research in Africa, but they gave it out to those countries as loans, so the countries get to pay back to them, so they're not really doing anything good in the first place. But we gave out grants to these people, and all we wanted was that the research be made in our favor. But China let the Africans and the researchers and all the other people they gave money to do whatever they want as long as they get their money back. I don't know, cause like I think somebody giving me a loan to do what I want to do would feel so much better than you giving me money to do what you want me to do, isn't it? But I digress. Okay, so I have decided that this is where I'm gonna call this a part one of the video, and then we're gonna have to do part two because I feel like it's gonna be very, very long. It's gonna be very, very long. So I'm gonna end the video here. If I film the second part, it's probably gonna be on another day. For the second part, we're gonna talk about the diseases that the America First Global Health Strategy is gonna start researching on in all of these countries and continents. Remember the places that they're looking towards: Sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, and South and Central America. Like and subscribe and comment your thoughts. I really hope that I delivered this piece of information as entertaining as I could.